Hello and welcome to another episode of The Modern Nerd. I am Sir Slice.
And I'm Smirchandise. Just kidding. Smirch isn't here today. Smirch isn't here today. I'm GJC.
And we are, as always, missing Smirch.
Oh,
as you can see, actually, we've switched. Last episode, it was just me and Smirch, and now it's me and GJC here, and we're going to be talking about the latest in news and trailers that have been happening. So if you didn't see clearly down below here in that direction, maybe, we're going to be talking about Nope, I pointed the wrong way. It's over there. Talking about Fantastic Forecasting announcement, but I'm going to do that a little bit later because it'll probably be the shortest part of this. And we're going to be going over the Deadpool 3 trailer that released during the Super Bowl, the X-Men 97 trailer that released, I think, earlier today or was it yesterday at point of recording, and the Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer breakdown. There's been a longer one that came out, so we wanted to go over kind of our thoughts of the series that's going to be coming out. So first, let's talk about Deadpool 3 trailer. This one, just for a short breakdown, it gets meta. They talk about, you can see like little the 20th Century Fox logo in the he's standing on it at one point. There's a bunch of cameos. From the looks of the TVA, that's a big one that I totally forgot about in the pre-discussion, that the TVA is in there, which makes sense because if you saw the last Deadpool, it was all about, Cable was in it and time travel, and now you've got at the end of the second one, he goes all through time and kills all these he kills alternate versions of himself from back in the day. He's just jumping around killing people and saving people and all sorts of shit, just fucking with the timelines left and right. And so entered the TVA, and now, the multiverse through Deadpool's eyes, which is going to be kind of fun. I am looking forward to this. The trailer itself was a teaser mostly, so there's not a ton to talk about here. I think the biggest things were we saw what looked like Patch, which is Wolverine, who runs he's like Wolverine and Hulk on a cover, and they're leaning. I have it. It's behind me somewhere. I wish I had it prepped for this, but he's got an eye patch and a white, like a white tux with black pants and everything, and he's an alternate version of Wolverine. So you saw what looked like that, and everyone is abuzz thinking that this is Daniel Radcliffe. Gio over here had a different take on it, which I liked, but I want to know if that's going to be Daniel Radcliffe. Who did you think it was going to be?
I said it was what's the guy's name? Taron Egerton. I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
Taron.
Taron Egerton. Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
From The Kingsman and from from a bunch of other things.
He was
Sing.
He was in
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. That was the name of the movie.
Is Elton John, which apparently he did really well in, but I did not watch. He's a great singer though, because you obviously heard him sing in 2 Sing movies, and
yep.
So there you go. And you know who else was a great dancer, performer, and singer?
Who?
Hugh Jackman.
Yep. Well, and
he did musicals first, okay?
For a long time.
Yeah, and he's a great singer. I've seen him sing on Broadway. It's amazing. I've seen him on Broadway like 2 or 3 times, and he's like,
yeah, I was gonna say,
freaking, he does it all. That's how amazing he is.
Yeah. And then what else happened? We saw the actor who played Pyro in the original X-Men trilogy is actually reprising his role. I didn't realize that was him at first, but that was cool to see that he's coming back. So there's obviously a tie to the Fox Studios, because he was Fox at one point as well. So I'm intrigued to see how they kind of blend this all together. You're excited for this movie in general, or
I hope it fixes things. I hope they use this movie to just burn it all down to the ground. You know how DC can never get a full reset, and maybe now it's finally getting a full reset, kind of question mark.
Kind of,
yeah,
maybe,
maybe, and so it's having a hard time with that, and if Deadpool could somehow usher in a smoother transition to a soft reset without you know, we say we want them to burn it down, but we're not asking them to burn it down. We're just asking them to fix some shit. So, there's like, obviously, issues. For advertising purposes, it's about to burn it down. You know, that's what we're gonna say. But really, we want a soft reset. You know, that to ease a transition into like a better future for the MCU. And this, if this is the vehicle by which we need to do it in, then let's do it. And what better vehicle than him? You know. Ryan Reynolds, everything he touches, he is literally the Midas of the entertainment industry. Everything he touches turns to gold. Struggling football team in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. 2 seasons later.
It's love like, him or come hate on. Him, people will pay to see him. If you love him or hate him, people will
pay to see him. So, and it's going to be great. He's I really think he, a lot of the stuff he does is great. So I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm excited, but also,
go ahead.
I want to keep an open mind, to like what he's, because this is a transition for him too, to be under the Disney umbrella and to be under this whole like MCU. So I want to see. I'm going to give him a lot of like, leeway, because he might not be able to do some. I'm sorry to say, he says he can do whatever he wants, right? Like, but like,
let's see
if he can do whatever he wants, like.
I don't know.
He says that, but you like it's still.
What is Kevin gonna do? You know what I mean?
Like Kevin might be like, okay, like Ryan, can we like meet in the middle instead of like, because they've already done it. Did you know that like the trailer in some parts where they talk about pegging, they don't have that in certain parts of the world? Because
that's commonplace though. I mean, that's a lot of different movies and trailers, like especially like in China where everything is heavily censored. Right, they're gonna take a lot of that stuff out, which is fine. I think the big thing for me with this trailer is I like that they didn't announce that they were going to do the trailer, because that kept it fresh, or the teaser, because I guess this is a teaser to a teaser, because a lot of Super Bowl commercials weirdly get a teaser before the Super Bowl, which is like a teaser for a teaser. But they didn't do that because, I mean, this movie has its own press. You kind of talked about it earlier before the show, was like there's so many leaks in this that there wasn't
they didn't need to spend money on a full-length trailer. They just were like, here's Ryan, and Ryan's like, go and look at this website, and then that website blew up and probably like crashed. That's all it is. Thank God YouTube was able to handle it, because like they must have spent like less than like 30 seconds on the screen, if anything. Like, I don't even know if they spent a full 30 seconds on the screen actually. So because, and especially with how expensive Super Bowl time is, like I'm certain they were like, Disney was like, fuck that shit, dude. Like, you get 30 seconds. The
teaser online is longer than that, isn't it?
I don't know. The teaser online is longer than 30 seconds, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull
it's at least a full minute or two.
I think it's like a minute and a half. It's really short.
But like when you're literally paying by 10 seconds, at a time at a Super Bowl, like I don't blame them for keeping it short.
It's 2.5 minutes. I'm looking at it here, which is a lot longer than I thought.
That's several million easily.
Oh, easily. But did they get a full 2.5 minutes? Was this the full spot in the Super Bowl?
No, it wasn't. It was Ryan showing up and being like, go to my website. And then that was it.
Oh, that's what happened. I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
It was Ryan, Ryan being like, go check out the Deadpool trailer out now online. And then that was it. It was like, I don't think he was on screen for more than 30 seconds. But it's like genius, because they're like, okay, now it's out. Now go watch. Like, you don't need to like sit here and
that's fine.
Like, we're not going to spend the money for you to watch the full thing. Just go to the website, and people did it. And that's totally fine. Like, it's smart.
Good. That is smart. Save your money. They don't need it. Anything else on the trailer?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh,
X-Men. Oh,
shout out to Blake Lively.
That's all.
Huh? No, because he was teasing it. He Ryan Reynolds is on Instagram and being like, "Hey, check out my new trailer that just came out from the Super Bowl, and also, have you seen my wife?" And then she was like, obviously at the game, and then when she came home, she took the same picture, being like, "Honey, I'm home. Like, how's your day?" So
that's good.
The two of them are great.
The X-Men 97 trailer also dropped, which was an interesting one. They've got majority I know it's majority. I can't say every single one, but majority of the original voice acting cast came back. Wolverine, Cyclops. Whoa, my microphone. I think it's the same Magneto. I don't know, because the few points that we really wanted to talk about for this are the voice acting. Like the animation is going to take some time for me to adjust to. We talked about this a little earlier today that like I've got some issues with some of that, but I'm not going to sit there and dote on the animation so much. But the some of the voices sounded pretty good and some of them didn't. Like I liked Cyclops. I think it sounded good. I think some of the delivery of like, especially like to me, my X-Men, like that sounded very 90s. And it's like that had
Did
its
he ever
time
say
and
that
place.
back then?
I don't know, maybe, but like the way it was delivered sounded like it was being delivered for a 90s cartoon show on Saturday
It sounded
morning,
like
you know?
Captain America.
Kind of, and that's their thing.
They
but,
wanted
like,
their
at the same
like
time-
Avengers Assemble to like
And they've-
catchphrase.
I think they say it in the comics. I don't know. But Wolverine sounded weird. He sounded different.
we both said
I
that. He
didn't-
sounded different.
I didn't like it. It is Cal Dodd. It is the original guy. Again, granted, this is 30 years later, but like, look, if that's what he sounds like, you should have gotten the guy who did it from Wolverine and the X-Men. That was a much better like assimilation of the 90s. Like he sounded more like the 90s Wolverine than this Wolverine.
I didn't even
know.
Yeah, I don't know why. Magneto sounded different. Wolverine sounded different. But okay, whatever.
Magneto had a weird accent to begin with because I was like, is he Eastern European? Is he not?
He's
British?
supposed to be. Yeah.
What's this accent like? First of all, he's not Magneto. He's Magnus. Like he's not Eric Lenchner. He's Magnus in the cartoon show, and I'm like, 90s were a weird time, man. Jubilee had a starring role, you know, and she's gotten bigger.
Yeah.
You know, but like it was a weird time, and so I mean I'm excited for it, but it's also like grain of salt type of thing, sort of like the next.
We talked
thing
a
we're
little
gonna
bit
talk
also
about.
about the animation style as well.
Yeah.
I think I did a YouTube short about like how things they needed to avoid, and one of the worst things that happened to the show was before it got canceled, that last season was like rushed to put together by a different company, a different studio, and all this, and a lot of drama. So the quality went downhill, and the show just looked completely different. Right, it went from a animated show about like a comic book show, like a comic book drawn style show that just happened to be animated, and then went to full on like Saturday morning cartoon almost. And like for a totally different audience, totally different look. And then this animation style, from what it looks like, is trying to find like somewhat of a happy medium between the two. Like it's not as bright and poppy colors, but
it's
the characters still somehow look a little bit similar to how it looked in the last season, which is kind of
Yeah, it's interesting. Like some of the faces look different, like they look very updated. But you look at like a lot of like what animation has been for like Marvel and DC over the last 15, 20 years. And like DC had it down. They had a formula and it worked, and they did it for, you know, if you watch any of the DC animated movies from like 2009 to like 2016, 17, maybe even up to 2020, there were like the same style of animation, and it all was there was continuity between everything, and it looked great. And then they just like in the last 3 years, things have changed in animation a lot. And I think you're seeing that come to the forefront a lot more. And I think a lot of people our age, at least, who grew up on this, really want that like a polished version of the 90s cartoon, 97 cartoon. But like we're getting it, but we're getting it updated. It just I'm trying to keep an open mind.
I would have been okay if they'd done the same style as What If. Like I like that. It looks good. Do you know what I'm saying? Sorry. Like I guess
yes.
I would have wanted something similar to that if you wanted like a more updated, polished look. As opposed to this, which looks like you're trying to like almost looks like slightly like I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe it's because it's not obviously technology is updated and it's all drawn on the computer 100% now. So like it looks a little bit more
true.
Like with the technology that animation's gone through and the transition and the way things are done. Maybe that's what kind of looks different about it. Is like it's obviously drawn with updated animation technology on a computer, as opposed to like what we had back in the 90s and doesn't look the same in that sense.
True. I think that if they had done something like a What If or like a new, just its own animation style, you can't call it X-Men 97.
No, you can't.
It would just be X-Men. You know what I mean? Like it would have to be its own show, but they're trying to pick up and like they're really going on, as South Park put it, those member berries, like they're really pulling on nostalgia, and I think they tried to keep it as close to that as they can. But like, anime is really big now, so like Jubilee looks like she's got like an anime face, and it just threw me off. Granted, she is Asian American. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but like, Rogue looked a little different. Cyclops looked exactly the same, but you can never see his eyes, so all you gotta do is a jaw and some lips, and that's not that hard. Wolverine looked fine. Just certain aspects look different. I'm interested. I'm gonna watch it. I might actually go back and rewatch all of the originals. There are quite a few of them though. The seasons were
last season's fucking
longer.
painful.
Yeah, but the seasons were a lot longer in the 90s. Seasons now are like 7 fucking episodes. So that's a trek to try and rewatch. Like, I think there was like 100 episodes or 70 episodes. I don't know. I'll take a look. It looks good. I'm excited for it. Some of it I'm not. Some of it I am. But again, open mind. Keeping an open mind. As I am with this next one we're going to talk about. I'm trying really hard to keep an open mind about this because this is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time, and that's Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're getting some live action treatment, and I don't have a problem with like the CG, like Appa and Momo that you see in the trailer, and you see even like
the firebending.
You see some firebending. It looks fine. Like I got no problem with that stuff. Like I get that's not going to translate super accurately.
It looks like One Piece. I was saying
bison that. With a beaver tail. Like that's how you're going to do that. It's the live action, actual, like the people versus the background, the way that it's lit, the way that it's staged. Like it physically feels like you're watching a play during the trailer. I'm really trying to keep an open mind about the way it looks, because like I here's an example. Speaking of Sokka, the voice actor, who I can't remember his name, went on to do another show, an animated show about
the Dragon Prince.
The Dragon Prince.
It's by the same studio.
Yeah, and I watched it and I was like, at the first like episode, I was like, this animation is weird. I watched every single episode and fell in love with it, and like I'm fine with the animation and everything.
It's a little rough to begin, but it's a different show definitely than Avatar, that's for sure.
As George was saying to his point before we went into this, so we don't have an argument live on camera, is it's going to look different than what I'm expecting. Yeah. And it's a different studio that's doing it, and times are changing, and I just need to keep an open mind with the sources and the way they're doing it. And I am. I'm going to keep my rants about the characters to a minimum, if any at all, but they are changing some people, so that's what more concerns me. But the trailer looks good. The trailer looks nice. I have some reserves. I have some reservations about it. Thank you. But look, this is it. We're getting it. We're finally getting a live action.
Once again, not finally. We already had one. It was terrible, and we're getting. Thank God, we're getting a new one.
We did not have one before.
I am pretty sure the original guys who created the show are not part of this TV show.
So they're not. The original people were originally on board, and they actually recently put out a quote talking about it. I can't remember what it said, but basically they're like, look, we didn't leave the show because we don't collaborate with people. We're fine. We know things have to change and update, and it's being taken to a new medium, but it's just the direction that we thought it should go. it didn't, some of the fundamental changes we thought should be there, they didn't. They're like, look, we're just going to step away and not complain. Like, you guys can now do what you want, and they're very fine with it. They're not like, angry. They're not. They don't hold. They don't hold any animosity.
Exactly.
They're off doing their own thing, and that's great. They're doing more Avatar, and good for that. I'm super excited for everything they're doing, which means I'm keeping an open mind with this, really. But yeah, it's an interesting situation. What do you think? Anything else?
That's it.
That's it? All right. I spoke too much on that one. Okay. Last bit. Fantastic Four, ladies and gentlemen, has been announced in an absolutely adorable fashion. Just this retro, old school type footage or a picture of Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss. Oh, Eben Moss Bacharach? Bacharach. I am saying something wrong here, and I apologize, Eben. But it was fantastic. It looks like, a nuclear family back in the day in the 50s, which is, 60s, whenever it came out in 62. So that was, it was just a cool little picture. And our logo here is a direct pull from that, and the background, I tried to make the same so that, to keep it in that vibe, because I was really excited about this one. We've got, again, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss Bacharach. I don't know why I did that twice, because I screwed it up both times. What do you think about this one, George? How do you feel about this casting?
I'm okay. I guess we'll see. I do like the fact that it does have that old timey picture trail, like teaser thingy, because like I kept saying, one of my theories was that like they're actually going to be somehow like stuck in time, or like that's going to be the story, that they actually were, or like because Doctor Strange said in that in his movie, like, didn't you guys chart in like the 70s or something like that? So it's like I just felt like that was like a nod, and that they actually really were like maybe from back in the day. Maybe. Like, who knows?
Especially based on this font. Like, if you can see it at the bottom of the screen here, it looks very 60s.
Yeah, like it has a WandaVision feel to it, like from back, like the first couple episodes of the WandaVision. Like, it has that feel to it, and that obviously took place in that era of time. So I'm very curious.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd be fine if they did this like back in the 50s or 60s, and they're stuck in time and then get pulled into our universe at some point, like a Captain America, where it took place back in the day. I'm fine with that, because everyone in this show, in this movie, is going to do great, and can do anything from any era. And I've said this before about the Fantastic Four. In the comic book world, is they are at their best when they're removed from the Marvel universe, from the comic book world, when they're doing their own adventures that don't directly tie in, like, yes, adjacent, but like don't have like an overall greater impact. That's when some of the writing for the Fantastic Four was at their peak. Go on.
I think it would be interesting to see if they're able to somehow weave in like it's some of the older original origin stories, like as a promotional astronaut family, and that's what happened to them, is that like they got lost in space, like they were like kind of like they were like astronauts, because that's kind of what happened in the previous like versions of the movie.
That's what they always have been.
Yeah, is that they were astronauts / scientists in outer space, and that's the story. So it'd be interesting to see if they can keep that. I really don't think they should like they should mess around. I think that's an interesting like way for them to get trapped in time, or wherever it is on their adventures, away from the MCU. You're totally right. That should be, they should lean in more into that kind of. Also, no word on Anya Taylor-Joy's role. We know she's tied to the movie, but
is
no
she
word.
Confirmed? Is that confirmed?
I think so. I think it's confirmed she is in the movie. As to what kind of role it is, there's still no talk about it.
I'm going to look it up just so we know. I want to go back for a second about your stuck in time thing. Their origin, like if they go through like a black hole or a wormhole, and this movie is that story of them traveling through that wormhole and then coming back. It starts in our time, but then either it starts back in the 50s or 60s, or it starts now. They hit a wormhole, get trapped back in the 50s or 60s. Maybe it's an alternate universe 60s, and then they come back here at the end. Like that would be kind of I like where you're going with that one. I hope we don't actually see a fully fledged Doctor Doom until like maybe a post credit scene. Like I would love it if they didn't introduce him yet.
He's in the Deadpool trailer.
Doom?
Yeah.
Was he?
Oh,
I'll have to watch it.
You need to watch it again and look for him.
Yeah, well,
there's definitely Doom in there.
Let me see. I'm gonna check this out. Has she? Oh. I guess she has been.
She was in that other mutant. Marvelish.
She was Magic, one of my favorite characters. She was Magic in Ileana Rasputin. Yeah, New Mutant. That's Colossus's sister. I watched that movie. It was terrible.
That's what everyone says, so I didn't do it.
It made no sense. It made no sense, but it was like I loved the character Magic in the comic books. I have like her first appearance waiting to be purchased at one of my comic book stores. I'm so excited. But yeah, I guess Anya Taylor-Joy is cast. I wouldn't mind if she was if she was Silver Surfer. I am fine with that. You know, she's a wonderful actress, and I think she'd be great for it. You know, she kind of has like that. Her face alone could just carry that role, because he talks, but I think he'd be better off if the character doesn't talk as much. Even if she is given a character, great.
She's going to be in Furiosa. She's starring as Furiosa in the prequel, and that looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, it looks weird though with what's his name, Chris Hemsworth. Like that part for him looks super weird, but I'm excited for it. So
whatever.
Who knows?
He's in a fat suit again.
yeah. I think everyone's going off though. Really, the biggest casting was Vanessa Kirby for this one. It's
a big swing. She's the hot item.
Invisible Woman.
She's a hot ticket. Like she's very, very popular right now. Like,
Mission Impossible.
It's a big get for Disney, honestly.
First
Pedro. Pedro is like a natural fit in many ways for the company to pivot to that. So
yeah,
he's a company man already. So
this is good. I mean, this is and Joseph Quinn, who like the world at least the US, anybody who watched Stranger Things fell in love with Joseph Quinn when he played the lovable Eddie Munson. I think I'm saying, is that right? From the last season they did of Stranger Things.
Pedro just needs to be a Disney prince now, and he'll hit the triple crown of the Disney trifecta,
Marvel,
like
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Just put him as a voice in some movie and you're set. And the last guy is Eben Moss Bachrach, he's in The Bear, and he's going for the Triple Crown himself. He was in Andor, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So we got two Star Wars alums here going for
both of those shows are amazing. Like from what I've heard, I haven't watched either, but I know that's actually Andor's supposed to be like the actual one good Star Wars show that no one watched, and then The Bear is supposed to be like the greatest thing that's come out since sliced bread. Like
you'd think the two of us being Chicagoans would watch that show, but nope, unfortunately no. Yeah,
I'll get to it.
There's a lot of interesting things happening, and look, I'm tired of saying this. I've said this the end of every episode. There's a lot of interesting things happening in Marvel, and there is, but at the same time, everything right now that we're getting is a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Take it all with a grain of salt, because every time you get excited for something seems to go horribly awry. But who knows? At least we have Madam Web to hold us over.
Oh, no. Oh no! I didn't think we were going to talk about that. I thought we were going to get away with it.
We're moving
without
on,
mentioning it, but I guess that you're. Oh.
This
all right.
This is going to be a good time. I'm excited for all the things that are on here, and stay tuned because we're definitely going to talk about these when they come out. I think Avatar is next month or next week, even. I think it's like end of February. March.
Yeah.
I mean, all of X-Men is in March. This is in March. I mean, we're not getting Fantastic Four until 2025, so that's going to be a while. But at least we know who is going to be in, and hopefully, it doesn't get the Blade treatment where it just keeps getting new director, new writer, new this, new that, so hopefully this stays on track. So we'll see. But as always, usual, if you've had a good time, thank you. Nope. Let me try that one more time. If you had a good time, we've been the Modern Nerd, and thank you for watching.